Total Screen proudly presents their official podcast, On Screen, with your hosts, Tyson Gifford and William Roerig. Hello, everybody, and welcome to On Screen, the official podcast of TheTotalScreen.com. My name is Tyson.
My name is Will.
And today we are going to be covering some news, a bunch of trailers and stuff, some other news that's come out. We're also going to go over some stuff that's coming up on the horizon. And we're going to end our discussion this week with the first 6 episodes of Our Flag Means Death in our full spoiler segment, which again means we're going to be discussing in full spoilers. So if you haven't watched it when we reach that segment, that's when you're going to want to tune out. Let's kick things off with our news segment, though. On Beat is, of course, our news segment where we discuss everything that's happened in the last week. And we're going to kick things off with some trailers. We got quite a few trailers this week. The Boys Season 3.
Yes, I mean, what can you say? It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for June to come so I can actually start watching, like,
what's going on with Butcher's Eyes, man?
We know what's going on with Butcher's Eyes. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless it's like some dream, unless they're fucking with us, you know?
I don't know. It's not.
I hope that's not.
It's not misdirection. The only questions are how and, like, what was the path to the decision making that went into that?
Yeah.
It's a pretty dramatic. I'm surprised they actually revealed that in this trailer, but...
Yeah, it kind of surprised me. Like, it's not even just in the trailer, but it's like in the artwork or whatever that shows on the thumbnail for the trailer.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they unleashed it. Like, oh, neat. That's like the entire season. But it's also
it's a good trailer.
It's a good trailer. It gets you excited, gets you hyped.
There's tons of footage. There's tons of
I love, like, the show, like, with A-Train parodying that Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, the Kylie Jenner Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Homelander milking a cow.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It's just, the Boys trailers are always good because they're like that. They'll put in a huge variety of things. They'll show some crazy action, some gore. They'll cross-cut between different things that are completely unrelated but look similar so that it kind of creates, like they did the scene where Homelander's son was like ripped off like something from his like over his shoulder, and then they had the one girl who works at PR do something very similar. So like they time that back to back so it gets that nice rhythm, but they're completely unrelated scenes.
Yeah.
And then they'll also just stick in like that cow milking scene was just like a what?
Yeah.
Kind of like
sticking like what the fuck stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, something like a person exploding, but we can't tell who it was. Maybe it was just some generic person. Maybe it was some known character, but we can't tell. We just see kind of,
right.
That kind of stuff. They're always like really well put together trailers. Looked like Huey got his arm snapped in half.
By Kimiko.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that's like that scene happens after the boys give themselves powers. Cause it's not just Butcher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they pass that stuff around.
That's in the comics too.
Yeah. So like I saw some speculation of that scene like where Kimiko, like Huey's thing might be like regeneration.
Mm-hmm. Their testing abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
It's such a cool trailer. I like all the there's like a bunch of dance montage parts and stuff throughout it. It's from commercials probably, I'm guessing, because, we saw that Pepsi commercial.
That's from commercials.
So it's commercials, dream sequences, whatever else it could be in, that there's it looks like there's a number of those things in there. Yeah, and then we got to see some footage of Soldier Boy.
Yeah, we got to see Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, looking like a very, very MCU Captain America Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good. That's gonna be a treat to see him in action. I gotta admit, seeing that's the one thing I'm the most looking forward to.
Soldier Boy?
Yeah. Just because, I love Jensen Ackles, and I just know he's gonna kill it in that role.
I hear Baby's supposed to make a cameo, too. That's the car from Supernatural.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That'd be
Baby's
funny.
Supposed to make an appearance as well. A cameo. It'll be kind of maybe it'll be like Sam Raimi kind of thing, where, he always has his Oldsmobile show up in, all of his movies.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it's going to be like everything that Jensen Ackles is in from now is going to have baby in it at some point. But, yeah, so that was The Boys season 3 trailer. Super hype. Looks good. Next thing was, you can't really even call it a trailer. I'm putting it in this category as it's the closest thing. But the Umbrella Academy season 3 date reveal. It's about, 5 seconds long, the whole thing. We get some really quick shots. It says sparrows are coming. All we really get new is that we see some more of the sparrows in it.
We see some more of the sparrows. It'll be interesting to see it and find out who these sparrows are, like their personalities, like what they're all about. Again, it's just a tease. It's just like 18 seconds, I think.
I think it's less than that.
It's literally really like short. Billed as a Netflix short, not even a trailer.
It's the YouTube short where it's even in like the vertical mode and stuff.
Which is annoying. Don't do that, Netflix. Come on. But anyway, not when I'm like watching like trailers and stuff of shows. Like, come on, let's not do TikTok fucking videos of like TV trailers. Don't make that a thing. But anyway. Yeah.
It's just the cast dancing with a robotic voice saying, The Umbrella Academy Season 3 comes out on June 22nd.
But yeah, it looks interesting. I'm excited. I'll watch that when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Umbrella Academy every time the new seasons drop, so I'm sure we'll do it again. So it's just a cool show, so looking forward to that. I'm interested in how they're going to do everything with Elliot Page, because he looks like he did before he came out as transgender.
Well, because, he's still playing a woman in this. Like,
is that
that's the character
change, though, in the season?
Nobody has said anything to that effect, so I don't know. Like, maybe it will, but like until then, like it's just like that's the character, so we don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they do with that.
Right?
Because they said that I think they said that they addressed it in some way, so I'm interested to see what that means.
I will find out.
Next up, we got a trailer for Barry season 3. I don't think you've watched Barry before, have you?
No, I've never seen this show.
It's a pretty cool show. It's got some good characters.
I heard it's a good show. Like I got recommended, so I got to sit down and watch it at some point.
Yeah,
I just haven't yet.
Add it to your list. Your overwhelming list.
My overwhelming list.
You add that on right below, like Big Mouth and
stuff that keeps getting recommended to me.
And I think this next one too. I don't think you've seen. I think you saw the first episode.
I saw the first
about it a long
season.
Time ago.
I'm pretty sure I watched the first season.
Okay, and that is Better Call Saul. Had a trailer for its season 6. I think it's its final season. I'm not sure if it's divided in parts. All that shit gets confusing.
Season 6, part 8.
Yeah, part 8 of 23.
Like they'll release one episode and then call it like season 6, part 1, and then like 2 months later, the second episode, season 6, part 2. They're like, they're really milking this.
Yeah. We'll see what they do. I don't know what that is.
Very soon they'll like section it out by like 30-minute increments.
I think it is split in parts, but I'm not sure. And I think it is the final season. I'm pretty sure it is the final season. But we'll see what ends up happening with that. But Better Call Saul is great because just everything Vince Gilligan does is great. And Breaking Bad was great.
But they'll release it 1 minute of footage a day, every day for
one of the cool things is there's a shot in the trailer that I think is supposed to be at the end of season 2, there was like that airliner crash.
Oh yeah, I remember the airliner.
And a bunch of them fell like over like Walter White's house.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
And there was a shot in the trailer where it looks like a bunch of body bags around a pool behind a house. And I think that's supposed to be that, which means that they're actually doing what everybody was talking about.
So now like they're actually doing it during the time Breaking Bad takes place, they're saying?
Yeah, like they've always done every season of Better Call Saul started with a scene. I think it starts and ends with a scene that's like in black and white that's supposed to take place after Breaking Bad.
Right.
And then it shows that stuff.
And the series is mostly like a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And I think they're going to start catching up through some of the events.
Oh, wow.
In this season, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So it'd be cool to kind of see how they do that because, Vince Gilligan's pretty clever with how he lays stuff out like that. So that looks good. Next up, we got a trailer for a new series called the Pentaverate, I think it's called. This is Mike Myers. It's a new comedy. He's apparently playing like 8 roles in it.
Oh, is he?
So it's that whole remember when Eddie Murphy did that? What was the movies he was in where he played like all the different roles? The Nutty Professor.
Oh, Nutty Professor, yeah.
Where he played and there was a stretch where we had.
Well, he played like the characters. Like he was like the Nutty Professor, and then like he played like every member like of his family, pretty much.
Yeah, all the adult members.
Yeah,
and then there was like a trend of doing that with comedic actors for a while, where I think Mike Myers did it too, right? He did it with some of the Austin Powers movies where he played like,
he was Austin Powers and Mr. Evil. Like,
yeah, that was just like two, like, but then by like the third movie, I think
he was Fat Bastard as well in like the third movie.
Goldfinger and
he was Goldfinger. Was Fat Bastard was in the second movie?
Yeah, I think Fat Bastard was the second movie. So he kept like adding additional
characters that he played.
Yeah, and so like that was kind of a trend, you know, and besides the Nutty Professor, Eddie Murphy did that with some other movies too, I think. But like there was this trend of like comedic actors playing like a bunch of roles at once in a movie, and it looks like Mike Myers is kind of picking that up again with a Netflix series that's supposed to be about like a religious organization started because of the Black Plague or something, and it's like a secret organization. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I always enjoy having comedies available to me because it always seems like those are harder to come by, you know?
Right, yeah. Mike Myers hasn't done anything in a long time too, so it's kind of weird.
He hasn't needed to. He has so much money. I think because of Shrek mostly, he has just so much money that he
he got that Shrek money.
Really needed to do anything. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
But I mean, I watched that trailer and I don't know, it looked weird.
It doesn't look great, but it looks like something you can put on in the background and you know, just enjoy as you're doing other things.
I was like, this is obviously like a comedy, but like it's super weird. Like I don't even know what to make of it.
You just play it in the background as you play Elden Ring on your on your Steam Deck.
My Steam Deck, my baby. I love my Steam Deck. Okay, so that's getting off topic.
That's Pentaverate or whatever it's called on Netflix. Next up, we got a trailer for a new Starz series called Gaslit. That's got Julia Roberts and Sean Penn in it.
You did not post this trailer.
I think I did. Oh, okay.
Maybe it didn't show up in the preview. I don't know. But I'll just go over real quick. It's not too in our wheelhouse of the kind of stuff we normally talk about, but it's about like Watergate and stuff, or like something around Watergate. Not specifically about Watergate, but something related, tangentially related to Watergate. And it's, you know, it's Sean Penn, so it's got like a real political lean on it and stuff. But that's like a limited series coming to Starz. And then we got, most importantly, the second trailer, I believe, because we got a first trailer, right? Or was that part of like a combined trailer with a bunch of other stuff? I don't remember. But we got, I think, our first real trailer, at least, for Ms. Marvel. Yeah. Yeah, it looks cool.
There's kind of two things that I want to point out about this. One is that I love watching like YouTube reaction videos. And so I watched this one on a channel called The Normies. And when they were watching it, 3 people were on the couch. One was a black guy. Another was an Indian guy. And the third was a girl who was raised Muslim from parents who are from the Middle East, immigrants to the United States. And what's interesting there is that representation matters.
Well, yes.
And so when something like Ms. Marvel comes out and it's the first like Muslim American girl like superhero, watching something like the reaction to that video, you could see how much it mattered to the people sitting on the couch, you know? So I just want to say, because I know a lot of people get into the whole like, oh, Marvel's woke and blah, blah, blah shit, you know? But just think about the fact that if you were of a different skin color than all the people that you see in this movie, and then you see a character that's part of this universe that you love, because they don't just cover like stuff, you know, that represents their skin color on this channel. Like they do all sorts of Marvel reactions and stuff like that. And then you watch them see something in a franchise they love and they get that representation, and you can see it and it really matters. And I wanted to say something about that because it is really cool whenever you see like Marvel expanding the universe so that it's not just a bunch of white men.
Right. Yeah.
So the more they expand that, the better, I think. And so that was the first thing. The second thing is a point of controversy that's a bit more legitimate that I've seen get brought up. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on that. And that's like the change of her power set, or at least the appearance of her power set. Because I mean, I think it's going to basically work around the same way. It just looks different, like the way it's presented.
Oh, I don't know. But I mean, as far as that goes, yeah, not a fan of doing that. I really strongly, firmly believe that the characters should be the characters from the comics coming to life. Mm-hmm. And I think like a lot of what defines a superhero is like their power set. The decision Sam Raimi did give Peter Parker organic web shooters was controversial, like enough in itself. And that's like a fairly minor difference. This is like a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like the rationale, maybe they have a good rationale for doing it. I feel like there's going to be a disconnect, though, like if they bring in this new audience, if somebody decides to go and pick up a Miss Marvel comic book and she's not doing the things in the comic book that she's doing here, people are going to like get confused, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just not a good idea in general to mess with things to that degree.
Mm-hmm. I think there's like three possible reasons that I thought of when I was watching this for why they were doing that. The one I think it actually is that her power set in the comics is very similar to Mr. Fantastic. And Mr. Fantastic is a very important character to Marvel. And they just recently got the rights back and they've been plotting, they already like hinted the last time they did like their whole, what was it at D23 last year, the year before, where they did like the breakdown of what movies are coming up and they had the big Fantastic Four logo. That's a huge deal for Marvel, you know, for the MCU, is finally getting that franchise back. They're the first family of Marvel, right? Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, they're first family of Marvel. I just want to say, like, and not to be corny, but like, the source material is your lighthouse. And Marvel has been very successful. I attribute Marvel's success to like very successfully translating that material to a live action format. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the further they stray from it, the further like the potential for problems to come up.
Yeah.
We've seen that time again in the past where, you know, where like filmmakers and stuff translate this stuff completely like disregarded, you know, like
Galactus being a giant cloud.
Yeah, Galactus being a giant cloud and Fantastic Four, you know, like all this stuff, all the depictions of Doctor Doom so far have just not been good. You know, like all this stuff in the past, like and we've seen like there have been major flops because of it. I feel like the secret sauce of Marvel's success is the fact that they really understand the material they're adapting and they do it in a way that's faithful and they make it exciting for people who aren't just like the people who are new to it, but the people who are already fans. Mm-hmm. And so when they do something like this, like change the power set of an entire character, it gets a little concerning for me. But I mean, I'm willing to roll with it and see like, and see how it goes. But yeah, and I gotta say, my personal thing isn't like I'm super excited for the show about Teen Girl, but it's good that Marvel is expanding and branching out and serving other audiences, serving other demographics, because like
definitely representation matters.
My personal taste or something shouldn't be the monopoly of like everything Marvel does. Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be a universe, and you know, a universe is more than just like one segment of the population.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, like I think having her power set be very similar to Mr. Fantastic's is one of the reasons why I think they might have changed it. I mean, just maybe because they want to save that for Mr. Fantastic, so that if that comes out first, and it looks like Mr. Fantastic is like a copy of her abilities in the MCU, and I think that I
don't think that's like really an issue. Like maybe they perceive it to be an issue, but
I think it's an issue with a lot of, because MCU's got a much broader fan base than comic fans. So I think it's a little bit of an issue. I think there's a lot of people that watch MCU movies that have no idea who the Fantastic Four are. As odd as that sounds to us, I think that is the case when that franchise is making billions of dollars per movie, you know?
Right, yeah.
I think like across the world, there's a lot of people that don't read the comics at all, have never read the comics, but watch the movies. So I think that is part of it. I think another possible reason is that maybe they just couldn't get it to look good, the effect of it, of her original power.
Maybe.
And the last one is that, and I saw this pointed out by somebody else, that the way they made it look in this trailer is reminiscent of kind of like the glowy effects of like Captain Marvel and some of her abilities, and also what was used for Photon and WandaVision when she showed up. And they're all going to be in the Marvels movie, all three of them. So maybe that has a part that they're going to try to do some way to kind of like link their power sets somehow.
Maybe. Oh yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know exactly what it's going to end up being. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff where they're, you know, I mean, technically Ms. Marvel is actually an Inhuman, right? So, and Inhumans aren't in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's kind of...
Yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting. I know some people are getting kind of upset about that, but I kind of want to see where they're going with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's trailers. Our next piece of news is that we got the director confirmation for Deadpool 3, and it's going to be Shawn Levy, who did The Atom Project just recently, also with Ryan Reynolds. It's going to be written by the same writers who've done the first 2 movies. So, what do you think about that, about Shawn Levy doing Deadpool 3?
I think that's cool. Yeah, definitely.
Have you watched Atom Project yet?
No, is that out?
Yeah, it's out now.
Oh, okay.
I think it came out last Friday. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It feels kind of like a really good straight to streaming movie. Like, I don't know how excited I would have been to see it in theaters.
Right, yeah.
But it was good. And, I have Netflix, so it was free for me and it was fun. And I enjoyed it. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I think the important thing is that it's the same writers from the original movies. And I think that's a big part of what Deadpool is. It's just so much snappy dialogue throughout those movies, that has to kind of be consistent. So that's, I think, the more important thing, that we have the same writers involved. Our next piece of news is that the Harley Quinn animated series on HBO Max, which is really good, by the way. People should check that out. That was the one recently had that, I think maybe a year ago, had that big controversy about, Batman not being able to go down on Catwoman. If you remember that, Jesus. That was all because of something they were trying to do in Harley Quinn. But they're doing a spin-off series called Noonan's that's going to be about a bar in Gotham called Noonan's where supervillains gather. They're calling it like a Cheers in the DC universe.
Nice.
So it's Cheers, but all villains. And it's going to feature Kite Man taking over this bar, and Clayface is going to be the bartender there. And you're just going to see a bunch of mostly Batman, but also other DC villains. Like they said Lex Luthor is going to show up and stuff.
I don't care about this. This sounds stupid. This does.
Harley Quinn, the animated Harley Quinn series is really good.
Yes.
Seriously, it's very good.
You've said this.
Spin-off of that.
Yeah, I know. It still doesn't sound great. Sorry.
It's like a comedy just with DC characters.
I know. It's fine.
But that's, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be coming to HBO Max. And next up, Nicolas Cage. This is kind of just barely news, because it's just basically him expressing his opinion on something. But Nicolas Cage has said that he would like to play Eggman in The Batman sequel.
Okay.
So Eggman was a character that originated in the 1966 Batman TV series. He was not from the comics. He was played by Vincent Price, and he was known as being a bald villain who made egg-related puns.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage says that he has an idea for a terrifying version of the character. I just don't think that this fits with anything that Matt Reeves is going for. I doubt this will happen. I mean, it would shock the hell out of me if this happened, actually. But it's just kind of funny. I like Nicolas Cage being kind of wacky, so I don't necessarily want this to happen, but I like that Nicolas Cage came out and asked for this to happen, because I think that's funny.
Right, yeah.
So you're not excited to see Eggman and the Batman?
No, not really. I love Willem Dafoe's idea for a Joker sequel. He wants to play the Joker in the sequel to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, opposite Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah, well, and that goes along with a lot of theories about Joker being one possibility of a Joker rather than the Joker.
Yeah.
So that kind of fits with that.
It kind of fits. It's a crazy idea, but I think it would be amazing if it happened.
Yeah, I think that'd be a cool idea.
That's an actual good idea.
Yeah, but thanks, Nick Cage, for trying.
Right, yeah, exactly. Nick, I'm sorry. Love you, but no, Eggman's lame. You're not going to make him terrifying. You're just going to make him weird, and it's going to be one of your crazy performances that people laugh about. It's no.
Yeah, that idea just was not quite excellent enough. Our next piece of news, this kind of surprised me a little bit, but we know who's going to be directing Marvel's Halloween special that we know is Werewolf by Night, but hasn't yet been confirmed as Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, but we know.
We know, though. And it's going to be the composer for Lost, Michael Giacchino, I think is his name.
Okay, all right.
He's the musical composer for Lost, and he did it for Up, and he's a pretty well-known composer. He's done a bunch of stuff, Lost for me is the one that stands out because I love that show and absolutely adored the music in that show. But he's going to be doing, I guess we just say Werewolf by Night, even though they haven't yet confirmed that that's what it is. We all know what it is. So he's going to be directing Werewolf by Night, not doing the music, directing the actual show, or the special. So that's cool. Cool. Apparently he's directed before. This isn't his directorial debut, but I've never seen anything he's directed, so I don't know what that means, but, I love his music, so yeah, I'm down for that. Next up, and this is our last news story, Super Nintendo World is going to open at Universal Studios Hollywood in 2023.
Nice. They're expanding into the U.S. finally.
Yep.
Nice.
And you finally get to visit California.
Yeah, someday. Someday.
You finally have a reason.
Yeah, finally have a reason. That was the excuse I was waiting for. It's like, okay, California, not unless there's a Nintendo theme park, I'm not going there.
It's funny, you said that in like 1992.
Yeah, I did. I said, sheesh, need a Nintendo theme park, sorry.
Yeah. Like, maybe I'll go to California if they open a Nintendo theme park there.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's it for our On Beat segment. Now we're going to move on to On the Horizon. On the Horizon is, of course, where we talk about stuff that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So here we got a few things. Atlanta is returning to FX on Thursday, March 24th for its final season. Halo also returning on Thursday, March 24th, but for Paramount Plus. Or not returning, but debuting, I guess.
Yeah, it's not returning.
Not returning. Then we have a bunch of stuff coming on Friday, March 25th, starting off Ghostwire Tokyo coming to PlayStation 5 and PC, Kirby and the Forgotten Land coming to Nintendo Switch, The Lost City coming to movie theaters. That's the one with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum and Daniel Radcliffe. And Everything Everywhere All at Once, which looks crazy. It's like a multiverse movie, but not comic book related, is coming also on March 25th to theaters. So that's it for On the Horizon. Anything there look particularly good to you?
Not really.
Not Kirby?
Oh, well, obviously Kirby. Do I have to say, like, I'm interested in Kirby, like, at this point? But
are you gonna check out Ghostwire?
Yeah, maybe sometime. I'm not day one. It looks okay.
Yeah, I'm probably going to check out the two movies, The Lost City and Everything Everywhere at Once. I imagine I'm going to check out both of those. And nothing else, I don't think. I was starting to lean towards Kirby, and then I played the demo and was reminded why I don't really like Kirby, though.
Yeah, but you're not like a big platformer guy anyway. Platformers are my comfort food. I love a good platformer. Yeah, they're my isekai, yeah.
I mentioned last week that isekai is like comfort food for me. Even if it's not good, I still enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
So Kirby's or platformers are your comfort food. I do like the occasional platformer, but yeah, it reminded me what I didn't like about Kirby. Like I was starting to get psyched, and then I played it. Oh yeah, this is why I didn't like it that much.
So you never got into a Kirby game in the past then?
I finished, I think the only Kirby game I ever beat. It's not because of difficulty. Obviously, it's Kirby. You can just kind of put the controller down and wait. But the only game I ever just put in the time to actually finish was Epic Yarn on the Wii. I really liked the visual aesthetic of it. And I enjoyed that a little bit, but even then I think that was mostly just because the Wii had long drought cycles and I really just didn't have anything else to play.
So basically, you were never hyped for a Kirby game then?
No, so. I was getting there for this one. And then I played it and then I was like, oh yeah. And it's not that
you played it and it was like, it's Kirby.
Yeah, it's not that me saying that isn't an admonishment of the game. I'm not saying, oh, this is crap, avoid it. If you like Kirby games, you're still gonna like this, you know? You might like this even more. It's just a matter of I had kind of forgotten the things about Kirby that I disliked, and then I played it and was like, oh yeah, there they are.
Remember, Sakurai quit HAL because he didn't want to work on Kirby games his entire career.
Yeah.
Now he's working on Smash Bros. Games for his entire career, but he said recently he's happy to do that. So
get more variety, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is it for our On the Horizon segment, and now we're moving on to our final segment of the week: full spoilers. In this week's Full Spoilers, we are going to be discussing Our Flag Means Death, Season 1, Episodes 1 through 6. So I'm interested. What did you think of Our Flag Means Death?
I thought it was pretty decent. It's not up to the level of like other things I watched.
It's not What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, it's not What We Do in the Shadows. Unfortunately, it's not terrible either, but there is a lot of room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like it really picked up some. It really got like some life injected into it when Taika Waititi finally showed up as Blackbeard.
Yeah, I think like the last 3 episodes is where it really started striking.
Yeah, because like honestly, I'm going to be honest. Waititi's Blackbeard is the best part of the show so far. He's just great. The rest of it needs work.
I do think Rhys Darby is great. I think I don't know.
Yeah, Rhys Darby is great
character as well.
As Steve Bonnet. He's great at just being like this clueless idiot who's like in over his head and doesn't know what he's doing, but still has like these delusions of grandeur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wants to be like gentlemanly but a pirate at the same time is kind of hilarious. It's a hilarious contradiction.
He plays him as like a very Michael Scott-esque character, just this guy who's like clueless, but also like overconfident for like no reason, even though like he's incompetent and doesn't really know what he's doing.
What's that show on Apple TV Plus that everybody loves? The comedy with about the British football team.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I've heard a lot of comparisons to this where people are saying it's like as if What We Do in the Shadows and that show had a baby or something. Like it takes elements from both of them, with Steed being kind of like that character, this kind of like happy, very positive character, always trying to be positive, kind of,
Yeah, Ted Lasso. That's it.
But he's kind of like a Ted Lasso-esque character or something. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Ted Lasso, so I can't comment on my own opinion on if that holds true, but
Steed is like overwhelmingly positive and cheery through like everything that happens.
Yeah. I think I've liked everything I've seen. Yeah. I've seen Rhys Darby in, so I've liked everything he's done.
That's another thing about the character too, yes. The character's overwhelmingly positive, like through like the whole thing.
Yeah. And I think like I don't know if I can imagine any other actor playing this character as well.
Right. What's crazy is like this is a real person. This is based on a real person who existed. We don't know like
loosely based.
Yeah, I don't think like he had the same personality, but there was somebody crazy enough to leave their life of luxury and like go pirating, and like it was said like the real Steve Bonnet was incompetent. He didn't really know what he was doing at first. Like he had the historical character, like he had no sailing experience. He had no experience fighting or doing anything like you would need to know how to do to be a pirate, but he still did it anyway.
Yeah. And
he really did befriend Blackbeard somehow. like those things happen.
That's hilarious. Like you said, Blackbeard's the best part. I think it's his Blackbeard in particular with his relationship with Steve.
Yeah, I started to see that in like the last episode, like the 6th episode. I really started
getting a better idea of who Blackbeard actually is as a person.
Yes.
Versus like what he puts out.
I feel like as of episode 6, like it's starting to blossom into something more. It's like we're moving in a positive direction. I would also like to see like the rest of the cast like fleshed out more,
We're starting to get there, because when I was putting together, and it's still in the same state, when I was putting together the show notes and I was putting the actors on there or the characters on there and stuff, there was a lot where I'm like, the Swede, who's that? Like, I'm like,
right.
Who's that? Like,
I feel like the first 6 episodes or so, most of them are just there to do or say something as comic relief. And it's just, we got to develop these characters more. When you think of like ensemble comedies, like What We Do in the Shadows, or like even like The Office, where you have like all these different characters, they do such a good job of building those characters up to like where you can like get attached to them. And it's not just like the entire show is centered around the one guy who's like the main goofball,
Yeah, definitely. And they're just starting to get into that. I mean, like in the only interesting characters besides Steed in the first couple episodes was Uliwande and Jim.
Yeah.
Who is like Jim because it's, secretly a woman. Hiding out on the ship, and Uliwande is like his friend, and like because he would manipulate the situations. Yeah, her friend. He would manipulate the situations with Steed to try to like hide Jim's identity or to like keep Steed from being killed basically by his crew.
The same thing, like
the best situation for Jim.
The only problem though is after like she's outed to like everybody, so like, her character fades into the background.
Yeah, definitely. I was just saying, like in the first couple episodes, they were the only ones that were that had any actual story going on, and then
then it kind of like resolves. She's outed. Her character fades into the background. Like her friend there, like doesn't have to cover for her anymore. So it kind of like
he's doing other things. So he's still interesting.
He's still interesting. He's still cool. Yeah, the dinner party. Yeah, that was great.
We got to see Nick Kroll and God, I can't think of her name.
Kristen Stahl.
Yeah, Kristen Stahl as
the
two of them. That was great.
That was great. Yeah, this is building. Like I think we're getting momentum now, and so I'm looking forward to the next set of episodes.
How about Blackbeard at that dinner party? Though?
God, that was great. He had, like,
everybody liked him at first, and then they started like insulting him.
Well, like Steed told him before they even went. He told them about sarcasm and
passive aggressive
or passive aggressiveness. How like the wealthy or refined like to cut each other with words. Steed putting that idea into Blackbeard's head like made him like really sensitive to that. You know, so that was funny. Like he starts freaking out. Like that was really cool.
Yeah, once he realizes what they're doing, he's like getting so upset about it, and he leaves. He's like, oh yeah, I'll kill you all. You have any idea who I am? I'm going to kill you all. And Steve's like, no, let me handle this. And he uses just basically the same method to just cause them to basically destroy themselves. Their whole ship ends up on fire and just leaving.
Just leaving.
They didn't do any attacks on them, and the whole ship's burning down anyways.
I like Jackie, the pirate, played by the SNL alum.
Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones, yes, that's her name. Leslie Jones.
Fred Armisen is one of her many husbands.
Yeah, it's one of her many husbands. So far, like the only husband we've actually seen. Like, we're told. Husband. Yeah, we're told she has many husbands. Like, but yeah, we only see Fred Armisen so far. But,
living husbands, because we saw the corpse.
Well, we know she has like dead husbands too. Yeah,
we saw the corpse of one though. Is what I mean. Like, because there's the whole scene.
But it's implied like she had. It's implied that she still has more living husbands. But
yeah. They said something like 20 or something, I think. But yeah, that was funny because Jim wanted to steal that knife back, and you see like the corpse of. She's still keeping the corpse of this old husband. Yeah, she's funny, and it looks like she's going to play more of a role, like an antagonistic role coming in through the rest of the season, it looks like, as we see a split in Blackbeard's crew with Hans being kind of humiliated and kicked off the boat because he challenged Steed to a duel and somehow lost.
Oh, Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy Hans.
Yeah, Izzy Hans, yeah. Yeah, he challenged Steed to a duel. Izzy is also a great character. He's I guess he's saying up to be one of the main foils of the show, and he's fantastic too so far.
You can just see because he's so loyal to Blackbeard, but he can just tell like Blackbeard's just lost it. Blackbeard's somehow become obsessed with.
Yeah.
He's just like
somehow become obsessed with
kill this guy and get past this, and we just need to. And every attempt he's trying to make is just not.
Yeah, it's just not working.
That was also funny with the way Steed ended up beating him was by taking the sword, impaling him, but on his left side.
Taking what Blackbeard told him at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, it's so funny because there's some part.
So there's no point on the left side. He's all, what about the liver? And he's like, well, what is that even for?
we got that big scene with Steed and Blackbeard because like, when they were trying to scare the Swedish merchants and Blackbeard was going to kill Steed, because Izzy was telling him it's time to do it, and then when Steed comes out with the finale, he came up, which was the Kraken, which was also based on the story that Blackbeard had told earlier in the episode. Blackbeard freaked out and he spilled his guts to Steed, and he basically revealed the truth of that story is he killed his own father because his father was an asshole.
And he hasn't killed many since.
And he hasn't killed anybody since.
For doing that, yeah.
Yeah. He says, oh yeah, everybody I've killed that, I outsourced that stuff. He basically admitted the people he's killed, he didn't kill by his own hands.
Steve's like, but I've seen you maim so many. And he's like, well, maiming's fine.
No, he said, no, that's maiming, that's different though. Yeah.
But he said I enjoy a good maiming. Yeah. But it was funny when he showed Steed his idea of being stabbed on the left side and take it as an advanced combat move. And you see his stomach and it's just all these scars from being stabbed.
Yeah.
Got to been stabbed like 20 times in that one spot, you know? But it's really funny because it's just, you know, what about your liver? He's like, oh, what's that even for?
Yeah, what's that even for? Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I enjoy this show. Like you, it's not as funny as, you know, what we do in the shadows. The characters aren't as strong as like the core 5 characters that you have in
right,
in the
shadows.
But they're growing on me, and Steed and Blackbeard, their relationship is just classic. It's great. I love every moment of those two on screen together. So I think it's going to get a lot better in its last 4 episodes of the season. I don't know if this is supposed to only be one season or if it's supposed to continue past this. Apparently Steed in real life, as you said, I think last week, that he doesn't live that long in real life.
It's like, according to like Wikipedia, it's about a year that he's active. Eventually he gets caught and they just hang him. Like, I think the governor of like North Carolina or something like hangs him.
And we already saw how he built his reputation by killing a British Navy man who he had grown up with, who he knew, and completely by accident, but then taking credit as if he did it. And then now we see that guy's got like a identical twin brother played by the same actor.
Yeah, I saw that.
who's now going to be hunting him.
Yeah.
So it implies that end's coming. I mean, it could mean that this is only like a 1 season show and then we get those last 4 episodes and that's it. But, you know, it's times different when it comes to shows like this too. So they could like,
it could
be 4 seasons to cover the span of 1 year, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't know. And they can also, it's not beholden to history.
No, it's not.
It's obviously,
like his crew members and stuff aren't based on actual historical people.
Tell me Black Pete's not real?
Possibly not.
Black Pete, the braggart. He always talks about how he was on Blackbeard's crew.
Oh, yeah.
They're starting to develop him, too, with his relationship with Lucius, the bookkeeper. So I think that's funny. I think there's a lot of potential beyond just the parts that I'm already enjoying. There's a lot of potential for more good stuff to come from this, and I hope there is. It is cool that we're seeing Reese Darby, who plays the main character in the Steed, is like a Taika Waititi regular. He always plays like small roles in pretty much everything Taika does, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then now we've seen the guest appearances in the 5th episode with Nick and Kristen, who had also been in What We Do in the Shadows. So it makes me kind of hopeful that we'll see some more kind of like Taika alumni show up in this, you know?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Maybe we'll even see like Matt Berry or something show up for a small role. That would be fun.
It's possible.
That would be cool. But we're going to talk about more of Our Flag Means Death next week. And by more, I mean the rest of the season or series or whatever that means. We'll be talking about
whatever ends up happening. Yeah.
We're going to be recording a day later just so we can get the rest of the episodes in because we didn't want to do this week by week. So we'll kind of cover the rest of it next week and we'll come to a closure on that. But until then, thank you everybody for listening. Leave a comment anywhere is good. Twitter is probably the best place. I'm at Tyson Gifford. Will is at Voxel Hero. You can check us out on our website, thetotaliscreen.com. You can check us out on SoundCloud. You can check us out on our YouTube channel. All the links to that are in our container stories for the podcast that are on our website, thetotaliscreen.com. You can also look us up on your podcast line of choice, like Pocket Cast or Apple Podcast. So please do that. Please subscribe if you get the chance. And if you have any feedback, good, bad, or indifferent, we'd love to hear it. As I said, Twitter's probably the best way to reach us. But until then, thank you everybody for listening. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to the On-Screen Podcast, the official podcast of The Total Screen. Visit our website at thetotalscreen.com. This podcast can be found on any major podcast client, including Pocket Cast and Apple Podcast. The entire backlog of this podcast and other content can be found on our YouTube channel.